Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sari. I am a writer and filmmaker based in Kirikiriroa, New Zealand. Today I'm having a chat about voting and why I am so passionate about it. But first, one must feed themselves dessert for breakfast because, you have to be filled up when you have much passionate rage against the machine. And today, I'm going to talk about why I'm so passionate about voting and some very sneaky things that have been going on thanks to the government here in New Zealand at the moment. I'm going to talk about those things today and why I think by the end of this video that I'm hoping you are just as passionate about voting in New Zealand as I am. As you can see, I've migrated to my office where I have been hunted or followed by my cat, Sir Brian Whitaker. My buddy cat, he's going to hang out with me. And I mean, he's pretty sociable on these vlogs. He always likes to turn up somewhere. But today he's gonna pretend like he's shy, but he's not really. How are you? Say hello to everyone. I will have some tea. So this is like a very long overdue update for my YouTube channel. But so what am I doing today? Today I am finishing up a application for some film funding that's come up here in New Zealand. And always up for a bit of application documents for a bit of money to make movies. Not a lot of money going around. Anyway, got to throw your hat in the ring. So I'm filling out that stuff today and it's way too boring. You do not want to be a part of that. So I'm going to do that on my own. And while I do that, I'm going to catch you guys up on what I have been up to because I haven't been posting long form videos because for me, every minute that a video is, it's about an hour's worth of editing. And I don't know if that's really slow, but that's kind of just how it is for me. So for example, if a video is 10 minutes long, then it's going to take me 10 hours to edit it. So it's quite a lot, and I just didn't really have that time at the end of last year to do that because I was doing something I have called my democracy project. So if you've been following along, then you're going to see my shorts, or you've seen my shorts, and so you've seen the work that I've been doing there. But that kind of just took all of my energy last year. So long form videos here on YouTube just weren't happening. But I'm going to catch you up on everything that I got up to while I do a little bit of this application. It's due next week, so I'm trying to get that done. See you on the other side. So when I'm feeling like a little bit stuck because I've just been sitting at my desk for like 2 hours and just feeling like a little bit like itchy, and so I've had some lunch and now I'm having a change of scenery and just writing down some notes so that I can kind of talk to you a little bit more clearly about, yeah, like why I'm so passionate about voting. So why am I so passionate about voting? Well, honestly, I don't really remember when it first started, but when I was 18, I got a job with the Electoral Commission. So we had a general New Zealand-wide election that year. It would have been 2008. And I was in like a voting place where people come to vote and they can vote for a few weeks leading up to actual election day. And I don't know, it was kind of amazing to just see behind the scenes of what that was like. It was the first year I was legally allowed to vote in New Zealand, and so it kind of coincided really nicely to having that job. And then afterwards they asked me to come and work behind the scenes as well and do like paperwork after. It was amazing. You just get exposed to something that you've never seen before. And so I think something was kind of planted then. And over time, it just kind of slowly grew, and it had lots of other influences on it as well. So for my 20s, like if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I used to work in government. I used to work in all kinds of different areas of government. And then when I lived overseas, I worked in the public school system in South Korea. And so you're just kind of getting these different experiences and influences from all these different areas, but coming from kind of government. And it's just influencing how you see the world and how I kind of saw like democracy and participating in democracy. So, I mean, that's kind of where it really started for me. But the really big moment, I think, where something kind of dawned on me, like, wow, okay, voting's really special, was I went back to film school in 2020, and then we had the election in, I think it was maybe 2021. And during that time, of course, the elections had to change to accommodate like social distancing and things like that. So we had a much larger like run up to the election so that, you know, people had a lot longer time to go and cast their vote. And what happened was, I think that people had more time. I think that, you know, people are staying at home a lot, so maybe they're being exposed to, you know, like ads, like go and vote, like now is the time to vote. And then also, I just think it was just obviously just such a crazy moment in history that what happened was it kind of this culmination of something came together, and we just saw a surge in voters, and not just any kind of voters, but people voting for the very first time. And like, as someone from a colloquial perspective, like my personal experience, you know, I'm standing at the door. My job was to welcome people and direct them to the right place. That was my job at the 2020 elections. And I was having wonderful conversations with people, you know, after they had voted about, you know, like it's a joyful thing. It's a celebration, and people are coming out after they're voting and they're saying, wow, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s. This is the very first time I voted. And that was I was kind of shocked, because that age range, especially like 50 plus, you're just assuming, and the data kind of tells you that, well, those people kind of vote, right? Those people always vote. But not in my experience. When I was standing at that door and I was having conversations, you know, at one point, I'm not sure if we had them in 2020, but you used to be able to get a sticker like I voted, and in New Zealand we have like a little orange man, like he's kind of our voting representative. He's like a little, I don't know, look him up online, maybe I'll find a picture of him somewhere, I'll put him up here. But it was kind of like a sticker like I voted, and voting is a celebration. It's an exciting thing, it's something to be celebrated. And as people were coming out the door after they had voted during that really big kind of momentous election, it's something dawned on me that actually I had a real passion to connect people to that, you know, to getting involved in New Zealand, like in their society, like actually using something that is their right. It's their democratic right to have a say, and that was really special. In the 2023 election, I was actually working for the Electoral Commission again. And so I thought about ways then that I would make content, and I did start making kind of posts for Instagram, but it was a lot of work, and I was looking at different policies that were important at the time to people, and I was kind of comparing them and like putting those posts up on Instagram. But it just took so much work, and working for the Electoral Commission, there's kind of this crossover, and so I stopped making content. So for the local elections last year in 2025, I'd moved to Hamilton from Auckland, and I discovered that Hamilton had the second lowest voter turnout in all of New Zealand, something like 29%. And I was just, honestly, I was kind of shocked. And so I kind of started thinking, okay, what can I do just to encourage people to vote? And I did comment on a few things that were happening, groups that were involved in the election, and a few policies, important things for Kirikiri Hamilton. But really my message was this: it was simply like, do a little bit of research and go and vote. And we did see our numbers rise here in Hamilton. I think it was something like by 3%, which is still shockingly low, like so low. But, like, we're working on it, we're encouraging. I just want to encourage people to vote. Like, I don't want to shame people, I want people to know that, okay, maybe I haven't voted in the past, or maybe I haven't known who to vote for in the past according to my own values and things that are important to you. But I want to encourage you, like, check your enrollment. It's so easy in New Zealand. You just go to vote.nz, put your details in there, make sure your address is up to date, make sure that you're, living in the same place you were living in last time. And these things can kind of slip our mind, but just make sure your details are up to date. So when it comes time to voting this year, November 7th, that you're going to be ready to vote. Because what's happened in New Zealand over the past little while is this government that we have in now, they've changed the voting laws, and honestly it has made me so angry. Like, I'm so angry. And like, my experience working in the Electoral Commission, working in government, like, voting should be easy. We should remove every single hurdle that there possibly could be to stop someone who's eligible to vote from voting. And being eligible to vote, that's a whole nother conversation, which I'm not going to go into. But if you're eligible to vote, like, as a society, as a democratic society, which is run by the people, who elect representatives who they, have decided are going to put their interests in the things that they want and the things that they ask for, through Parliament and prioritize in our country. Like, that's a democracy. We should remove any hurdle that would stop people from being able to vote for representatives who represent them in government. And this government they're putting hurdles up, and there's lots of reasons why they're doing that. But it just really made my blood boil, and it made me really, really angry. And so I will be making content this year. I will be making content to check that people are enrolled, because the enrollment date actually is like much shorter. Like, when voting begins, you can't enroll anymore. And we used to have it so that you could enroll. You could walk in on election day, like with hours to go, and you could fill out an enrollment form and you could vote. And that is a democratic society. And so I'm quite angry, and so I just think what they've done is wrong. What they've done is undemocratic, actually. And all the arguments for like voter fraud is just like, it's a lie. We have such low voter fraud. Like, in New Zealand, it's negligible. Like, the numbers are just, they don't even count. And I've worked in teams that have looked after voter fraud, and trust me, it's low. Like, it's so low. And we've got all these things in place on the other side of election day, like when all the paperwork's in, that looks after that kind of stuff. And so there's no need to be concerned about that. And this whole idea of like, oh, it's going to make it easier on staff and all this kind of stuff, like all these silly arguments that they had, like, it's just not true. Like, democracy is not a cost-saving measure. Like, to have a democratic society, like to roll out free and fair elections, this is not a cheap exercise, and we shouldn't be looking for shortcuts. And besides, like, this thing that they've put through, it's not a shortcut. Like, it's going to take just as long to count. The reason it took so long last time is because the government who's in now, like this freaking threesome that they've got going between these three guys, like, it's just, they took so long to negotiate. Like, that's why it took so long to get a government formed in New Zealand. It had nothing to do with the hardworking staff at the Electoral Commission. It had nothing to do with people enrolling to vote on election day. And so I'm just like, okay, like, what's within my power? Like, what's within my remit to do? And it's to encourage people to enroll before the cutoff date, which is earlier than it has ever been before. And then once we like kick out this freaking government, we can like get those laws changed back so that we can actually reinstate like a piece of our democracy here in New Zealand, which is really, really important. So yeah, so if you've stuck all the way around to the end, thank you so much. Like, that's why I'm so passionate about, like talking about democracy, talking about participating and voting. And, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a political science major. Like, that's not what this is about. It's just, I have this incredible passion to see everyone in New Zealand vote and to have hurdles removed that would stop people from voting. And yeah, so that's kind of why I do it. And I'm really passionate about it, as you can see. And yeah, so if you liked this video or you're passionate about that stuff as well, please like this video, subscribe here, and I put my shorts on Instagram and TikTok as well. So you can follow along there. I'm just sari.infocus. So thanks very much and have a good day, and make sure wherever you live in the world that you check you are enrolled to vote. And here in New Zealand, you can do that at vote.nz. See you next time.